welcome to the Quincy Access Television Studios. I'm Mark Crosby. Thank you for joining us for Good Deeds, a program that looks at the Norfolk County Registry of Deeds. And to do that, to really get into what the registry does and to understand some of the recent activity, we have brought in the Register of Deeds, Bill O'Donnell. Bill, welcome.
Mark, thanks for having me. Always great to be in Quincy. And again, thank Quincy Access Television is always great about, getting the information out about an arm of government people might not know much about, but the biggest asset most of us have are our homes, and it's a great service to get information out to Quincy and beyond. So thank you.
And we do, of course, these programs on a seasonal basis, so people can basically keep up to date with recent activity. Yeah. So we will start with recent activity at the registry.
Well, in I'd say 2016, it was a busy, steady year across the board in Norfolk County. For instance, total documents recorded in 2015 was 157,817 documents. And in 2016, it was 167,600 documents. That's a 6% increase. And you kind of saw that across the board. In Quincy, for instance, there were 15,931 documents recorded in 2015 and 16,198 in 2016. So they had a 2% increase in total documents recorded. And this carried through. For instance, there was a 4% increase in the total amount of deeds recorded countywide. Again, Quincy's part of Norfolk County. There are 28 communities that make up Norfolk County. But there were 17,819 deeds recorded in 2015 and 18,559 deeds countywide. So that made that 4% increase. And there was a 1% increase in Quincy deeds. So again, increase in documents, increase in deeds, increase in mortgages. Countywide, there was an 11% increase. There were 30,695 mortgages, which are borrowings recorded in 2015, 34,159 in 2016. And so 11% increase, and Quincy followed that. Quincy had a 9% increase in the amount of mortgages. And in homesteads, countywide, increased as well by 4%. Homesteads are it's a declaration of a homestead gets recorded by the consumer, by the property owner to protect their property up to $500,000, and it's always good. Quincy Access is great about trumpeting why people should have homesteads, and it's a good consumer protection. So that has also increased, and again, it's because of organizations like yourself spreading the word.
What about foreclosures?
Well, foreclosures, that's been, I always say one foreclosure is one too many. There are people still struggling. We saw an increase in foreclosure deeds by 18% countywide. 250 foreclosure deeds in 2015 to 294 in 2016. A foreclosure deed is at the end of the process where, the whole foreclosure has taken place and finally a deed gets recorded. Now, the notices to foreclose countywide have also increased. There were 781 notices in 2015, and in 2016, 810. A notice to foreclose starts the process. Most of the time, if there's going to be a foreclosure, there's a lawsuit filed, typically in the land court in Boston. And by law, they have to record a notice to foreclose. And that's the last involvement the Registry of Deeds has as far as recording. Sometimes people sell their property before it's foreclosed. Sometimes they get back on their feet. And the next time we see anything is if there's a foreclosure deed recorded. But what we've tried to do in that interim, we've partnered up with a number of organizations. NeighborWorks of Southern Massachusetts, Quincy Community Action Program here in Quincy, as well as we've partnered up with them. So they are nonprofit. They reach out to people that are struggling with foreclosures, and I would suggest that if you find yourself being that statistic, then go to the people that can help, and certainly here in Quincy, those organizations can help. And you may want to check the Attorney General's office as well. So it's still an issue. We still see increases. The good news in Quincy is that there was a 10.6% decrease in notices to foreclose. It went from 94 in 2015 to 84 in 2016. So at least in Quincy, the notices went down, but people still are struggling. And some of it, I think, is backlogs, that the banks have been working on backlogs. But I think part of it is there's still parts of the economy and people that are struggling for different reasons, whether it's health, whether it's losing a job, and we have to try to help those people if they can to get through it one way or the other.
And once again, you mentioned there is help available.
Yes, you can check our website at www.norfolkdeeds.org, where we have links to Quincy Community Action Program, NeighborWorks of Southern Massachusetts, and we also have the telephone number for the Attorney General's office.
And currently on screen, we have the number to the Norfolk County Registry of Deeds, as well as the website.
Sure, you can call our customer service center at 1-781-461-6101.
And the website, of course, is norfolkdeeds.org.
Yes.
Talk about, you had just briefly mentioned the Homestead Act. There is protection automatically in place, but you encourage folks to go beyond.
Yes, you have to thank your state legislators. You have great state legislators here, and Tacky Chan and Bruce Ayers, and you have John Keenan. And
Very
Ron
active.
Mariano, of course. So they did a nice job with the homestead. For the first time in Massachusetts history, they did some changes in the homestead, and for the first time, there's an automatic protection. It's $125,000, and it gets a portion depending on who owns the property. So that was the first time in Massachusetts history. Homeowners, if you've done nothing, at least have a limited amount of protection. But since I've been registered, the amount has increased. It went from $300,000 to $500,000. So for a relatively modest filing fee, which is set by the state legislature of $36, I would get the protection of $500,000. And what it does is it really prevents the forced sale of your home to satisfy some debt, or the best example I give are people, most people drive cars and you think you have a lot of insurance on your car. You might have $100,000 on your car, but if you injure a party and that party has, say, a $400,000 case on you, they're going to seek, to get compensated because you only have $100,000 worth of insurance, and the biggest asset most of us have are our homes, and the homestead protects against something like that. And again, hopefully you never need it, but I think it's a good consumer protection, and the legislature has been great in not only increasing the protection, but they've also expanded it. There was case law that said you couldn't put a homestead on if the property was in trust, and the legislature has changed that. So if the property's in trust, you can put homesteads on. If you have a homestead on your property and you have a purchase and sale, that homestead protects the proceeds of your purchase and sale for a limited period of time, in that case 1 year. Or if your house burnt down and the insurance company gave you a check, your homestead protects the proceeds of that check. So you can build a house as opposed to have creditors swooping in and taking it. So there's been there's a lot of protections by having the homestead, and that's why I think you see on the statistics why it's increasing, is because people are aware of it, and it's also been expanded to, if the property's in trust. And also elderly. The legislature defines elderly as 62 and above, and they have the right to put an elderly homestead on, which has certain protections as well.
Talk about some of the exemptions.
Well, certainly, I always tell people the best thing to do is not get in trouble. People sometimes think, I get a homestead, I don't have to pay my taxes. No, the homestead does not. Everyone's playing poker, I guess. The homestead does not trump taxes. The IRS and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts do put liens on at the registry if you don't pay your taxes. If you don't pay your taxes here in Quincy, you can be foreclosed on through tax taking. That a homestead doesn't protect that. A homestead certainly doesn't trump, to borrow the poker term, a mortgage. It's in the statute that if you don't pay your mortgage, you can be foreclosed on. And there are other exemptions, for instance, certain court orders for, child support and things like that. So, but it does protect against day-to-day things, like I say, the car accident. But don't ever think that because you have the homestead on, it's carte blanche to to not be responsible in an economic sense.
We should mention that today, the day that you chose to come in for this show, there was a 30-car pileup on the road. So
Right.
accidents, unfortunately,
Unfortunately,
happen.
yes. Unfortunately, they do.
The other item I'd like to talk about as far as exemptions are concerned is nursing home expenses, because those aren't covered.
Oh no, and that's really we get that as a lot, a big question. And no, Homestead doesn't beat nursing home costs or Medicaid liens. And again, the best advice I can give people is, to go to an attorney or an advisor who specializes in that type of estate planning. But certainly the Homestead doesn't protect against those type of claims.
Talk about a free service that the registry offers. It's a consumer notification service.
Yes, the consumer notification service, again, we're very, at Norfolk County, we try to initiate a lot of modernization initiatives, and we're very proud of this initiative because we're one of the first registries to do it here in Massachusetts. The consumer notification service is really a free service. You can go on our website, again, www.norfolkdeeds.org, and sign up for it. And I've done it myself personally. You sign up and you get an email if something is recorded in your name. Now, I'm William Patrick O'Donnell, William P. O'Donnell, but it works because I get notices if there's a William F. O'Donnell or William J. O'Donnell. I get an email that says a document was recorded. I look the document up, and good, it's not me. And why are we doing that? It's because, well, first of all, the FBI has said that one of the biggest white-collar crime growth rates, I guess, is deed and mortgage property fraud. And I know it's happened in other registries across the country, California, Illinois. I have not seen or had the, state police coming in and saying that there's been a fraudulent document. But you know what? It's out there. Scams happen. We see it. So I think it's just a matter of time before it does hit Norfolk County and Massachusetts. I think we're very fortunate that it hasn't. So this service doesn't prevent the fraud, but you get a notice. And if you get a notice, you get that email, it references the book and page, you look it up, or you call our customer service center, and all of a sudden, if that document is suddenly my deed, well, there was a fraud. And I can, we have links to the police departments, the district attorney's office, the various state police, the various law enforcement agencies here in Norfolk County, where you can start the ball rolling. So, we've rolled it out, and I think it's a good service. And it's so sensitive, even when one of our staff, we've been doing some back indexing projects, touches a document, you get the email.
Really?
So because I've gotten it for like old stuff,
Right.
So even if it's touched in an indexing sort of way, you get an email. And I know people don't like emails, but you just get it, and if it doesn't apply to you, you just delete it. So we believe it's a good service. It's purely voluntary. And again, I think it's just being proactive. We're trying to be proactive as a government agency, seeing issues, So the mission of the registry is probably, the same as it was in 1793, to make sure the documents are recorded accurately and that the community has access to them, and that the economy can be, the real estate economy can rely on these records. But there's so much else going on, and I think we've tried to make the registry relevant in the modern world we live in. And this is one of the ways, is to use the advances in technology that, you can get an email, and if something, pertaining to, Mark Crosby or Bill O'Donnell comes through, you get an email. If it applies to you, then, you can take the necessary steps to protect your property. Again, the biggest asset we have is our home, so make sure, you protect it.
There is a lot of history at the Registry of Deeds. Matter of fact, you have done many history projects at the registry. One I'd like to talk about is a transcription project.
Yes, again, I don't say this, there's no I in team. I remember Sheriff Cliff Marshall when I first became county commissioner with John Gillis. That was one of his sayings. So a lot of this work that gets done it's because we've got a good team there. And I'm proud of what the team's done. And the transcription's another, kind of innovative project that we're doing. And what it's about is from 1793 to 1900, the documents were handwritten. They're handwritten documents.
Cursive.
Cursive in penmanship. Now, I went to St. Catherine's School in Norwood. The Sisters of St. Joseph made sure you knew penmanship. Now, I didn't start the project because of penmanship issues. I started because the documents are hard to read. So I thought it was a service to the people that have to look at these documents for title searches, the title examiners, the lawyers, the engineers. But more and more people are using the registry for genealogical and historical research. As you say, there's a lot of history in Norfolk County. 4 presidents, we're the county of presidents. 4 presidents were born here in Norfolk County. So what we're doing is, you can view these documents, and I'm very proud of the fact that with Internet Land Record Research, we're bringing the registry records into people's homes and businesses. So if you entered Book 1, Page 1, that first document, which was from Foxborough, a deed, in cursive, is viewable. But now we've started a project, and it's been quite an undertaking, where if you hit the transcribe button, the T button, a typed version of that document comes out. And it just makes it easier for people to read. I think that helps people. And as we start reading the documents, it's really interesting. For instance, John Adams and some of his deeds, and some of his deeds to the town of Quincy at the time, and other deeds to his son, John Quincy Adams. How many times do you get this, second president to the 6th president giving a deed to the father to the son? Right. But sometimes, like John Adams put his philosophy in on the deed to Quincy about what he thought education should be. Other deeds have what's in the various houses back in 1790s and the early 1800s. So there's a lot of neat little things so people can read them. But I know you have a good baseball player's son. I have 2 sons and a daughter. Well, my youngest son a couple of years ago was graduating high school, and I noticed a lot of his fellow classmates, they print. And I think, now I didn't start this project because of this, but I think people don't know cursive anymore, don't know penmanship. Right. And maybe in a few generations, you're not going to be able to read those documents because everyone's on the texting and the typing. You don't really, a lot of people don't know the cursive. And even, some of the words now, the F's and things like that, back in 1793. So this, what we started was with the deeds. So, that was the documents people were really interested in. So we're transcribing all of them. All the deeds are done. And now we're attacking the non-deeds. And we're hoping that project will be done in July of 2017. But we will have every document transcribed. It's been a big undertaking. And again, I think it just, you can't know about your history unless you can read it. And I think this project kind of brings history to life. Because there's a lot of history in the documents. I know the documents are really about who owns the house. But there's history in Norfolk County.
Talk about notable land records, and not only government, but actors, actresses, sports personalities. This is a project which will likely be rolled out toward the end of 2017.
Yes. We've been doing work on it, but again, our real mission is what deals with the documents, and we have a lot of projects coming forward. For instance, electronic recording of the land court should be coming because the legislature, just on the last day of the session, January 3rd, passed a bill that in essence will allow electronic recording to take place on the land court side of the registry. It was signed into law by Governor Baker. So there's a lot of projects like that all of a sudden go to the head of the line because they deal with our real mission is making sure the documents get recorded. But because of the history, and I enjoy history, we've been doing a notable land records, and we've been looking up people who resided in Norfolk County. But then what we do is try to tie that person who resided in Norfolk County to a deed in Norfolk County. And we've written a letter to the historical commissions and societies to ask for their input. But we did a lot of research on names. You know, for instance, it's not just, you know, obviously 4 presidents, but it's not just political people. There are a lot of governors that lived here in Norfolk County. But there are actors, Mary Pratt, the baseball player. We try to, you know, look at cultural people. Helen Keller down in Rentham. So Arthur Fiedler in Brookline. So what we've tried to do is look at political people, cultural people, actors, you know, in actresses, and you know, try to tie it. And obviously, there's sports figures. You know, Larry Bird lived in Brookline, for instance. So, we're trying to, you know, do a little project and tie it in. And it's really interesting. A lot of the people, the founder of Dunkin' Donuts was from Norfolk County. So there's a lot of interesting. You know, cultural, political, you know, and we're just looking for anything. And if anyone's watching this show thinks that they can come up with a name, you know, forward it to us, and we'll try to, you know, do a little research on the person, and you know, it's been kind of a fun project to do.
Over the years, this project recently expanded with the Norfolk County Registry of Deeds, but over the years, a successful program that you have been involved in, and that is Suits for Success. So talk about the registry's involvement in that.
In you know, in the Suits for Success, you know, we got a, you know, catchy name, but it's not just suits. We take any clothing, pocketbooks, scarves. It's expanded. You know, we don't refuse anything that comes in, and it's been around at Norfolk County, and it's really grown and blossomed. We're a drop-off point if people want to drop off suits, dresses, as I say, scarves, pocketbooks, belts. Sometimes our plan room down there looks like the old Filene's basement, although I'm probably dating myself when I say Filene's basement. And what we do is we collect that clothing, and then we deliver it. And, you know, Interfaith Social Services here in Quincy is one of the places we deliver it, and they're great people down there. They do a great job, not only with their career closet, but, you know, with the clothes, but they have the food pantry and do so much down there. Father Bill's in Mainspring has been another place where we donate items of clothes. And then recently we've partnered up with the Veterans Administration. So we actually deliver the clothes to Jamaica Plain. They have a program down there. And again, you know, our veterans, I mean, one of the reasons we live in a great country is the service of the veterans. And you know, it's just a small way to you know, thank them and all veterans for what they've done, you know, for the country and for the great things that we get to do every day. So the Suits for Success, it really has kind of blossomed, and I think, you know, especially, it doesn't feel like spring now as you know, with the storms and everything are supposedly approaching and coming, but, you know, cleaning out your closets and things like that, please feel free to drop the clothing off, because we'll make sure it gets to the right groups and it will get to people in need, and that's what it's all about.
You and I spoke about another program that seems to be a good fit for the registry, and that's called the New Life Home Refurnishing Program.
Right. We had seen this group. It's only been in existence in 3 years. Mr. and Mrs. Yates from Medfield, they have a big warehouse in Walpole, and it's the only one of its kind from Norfolk County down. So they're servicing people from Plymouth County and people coming up from Barnstable. What they do is they collect items that would be in homes. Now, we try to help them at the registry because we collect linens, comforters, blankets, you know, pots, pans, cookware, silverware, utensils like that because of storage limitations. They collect everything at this warehouse, from beds to couches to furniture, and they refurnish a lot of the furniture. And why do they do it? Well, there's a lot of people that they might be living in a residence, but they can't afford, or they're struggling. They don't have items that we take for granted in our homes, whether it's a table or a bed or a bureau. or items like as simple as pots and pans and utensils, which what we're doing at the registry. So the bigger items, we tell them they can go to New Life Home Refurnishings. It's in Walpole, and make arrangements to deliver the bigger items. But we are a drop-off point, as I said, for comforters, blankets, items, linens, pots, pans, silverware, and the people that come to this group are referred to by social service agencies. So it's all referral based. It's people in need. It's people that have been referred to by the various social agencies and religious organizations around Massachusetts, and these people are in need. And it kind of fits to the registry. We deal with homes, and it's just a way to use these donated items to, again, to help people in need. So I think at the registry we've done a nice job of trying to be socially aware, and try to use our location and the fact that we serve 28 communities, so there's a lot of activity at the Registry of Deeds, and then on the second floor of the registry the jurors come in every day to serve or wait for service in the jury. So we're at a venue where we have some visibility. If we can use that to try to collect items and help people, it really helps. So it's just another adventure. And it's funny, Mr. and Mrs. Yates looked to our Suits for Success because they had seen that, and we hope that's the model. I always said, hey, it took a while for Suits for Success to grow, and now it's blossomed, and we hope the same blossoming will take place with New Life Home Refurnishings, because the Yateses are wonderful people, and the work they do, they really help a lot of people. So.
And another donation program, before we actually conclude this particular episode, I just want you to recap the Toys for Tots and the registry's involvement.
Oh, sure. Well, again, Toys for Tots, this was our 10th year partnering up with the United States Marine Corps. Again, the veterans, the Marines do a great job for the country, but they do a great job during the holiday season, and we're a drop-off point. A lot of items are donated between registry employees, people that use the registry, people coming by to close on their house, see what we're doing, come by later and drop things off, or some of the jurors that use it. So the U.S. Marines, they come by and collect the items, and they do such a wonderful job in the holidays to make sure that everyone has a good holiday. So it's great, and that's been a nice partnership, and we run that drive through we do a couple of drives. We do the Toys for Tots drive from November into December, and then we do our food pantry drive the same time. But I make a pitch for the food pantries now. If you go to our website, we list all the food pantries in Norfolk County, and I'm sure they're in every community, and some communities have multiple food pantries. We give you the address, and they need donations all year round. So it's great that we do it at the end of the year with the Thanksgiving into Christmas, and we did it this past year. But their need goes all year, especially in the winter months. So any donations that you can give, go on our website and go directly to them with your donations, because it would be it's well needed, and it will, once again, there's a lot of need, unfortunately, and a lot of families and people, the service numbers when we go by to the registry, go by the various food pantries has increased, like the number of people that they are servicing week in and week out. So they definitely need the donations.
Thank you for doing your part.
Well, every little bit, and again, it's a team effort. We have a team effort at the registry, and so every little bit helps.
Well, I want to thank you for coming in and talking about the programs of the registry, your involvement, and of course the numbers that you led the show off with, and certainly welcome you back when we leave winter and enter spring. But thank you for coming by.
Mark, thank you very much, and again, thank Quincy Access. It's always great coming to Quincy, and and the service your cable access provides is great. So thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for coming in. I mean, we certainly put the invite out there. You accept the invite, and it's really I'd say a collaboration between Quincy Access and the registry. So thank you.
Great.
Thank you at home for watching. You have been watching a program of Quincy Access TV. Please continue to watch Quincy Access Television for more locally produced programming.